Okay, so I just watched the weather models completely lose their minds in real time. And honestly, what I'm seeing has me genuinely speechless. 3 days ago, everyone was complaining about this boring winter. Well, Mother Nature just heard y'all loud and clear, and she's about to deliver with interest. We're looking at the most dramatic weather pattern flip I've witnessed in years, and it's happening so fast that even the computers are struggling to keep up. Right now, there's snow falling in Florida, actual snow in the Sunshine State. And this is just the warm-up act before the main event. But here's where things get absolutely wild, and I need you to stick with me because what's coming next week could rewrite the record books. So let me paint you a picture of what we're dealing with. We've got Arctic air so cold it's been locked away for over a month, and it's finally breaking free. At the same time, Gulf moisture is streaming north like it's on a mission. And when these two forces collide, that's when winter weather magic happens. Now, before we dive deeper into this meteorological madness, I really want to hear from you in the comments. Drop your city and let me know what you're hoping for. Are you team snow praying for a blizzard, or are you already planning your escape to somewhere tropical? Because what I'm about to show you is going to affect everyone from Miami to Minneapolis in ways we haven't seen in years. So here's what's happening right this moment. Atlanta's getting snow, and I'm not talking about a light dusting that melts on contact. We're seeing honest-to-goodness accumulating snow at rates of 1 inch per hour, and that's absolutely bonkers for Georgia in January. Meanwhile, winter storm warnings are stretching all the way down to the Florida Panhandle, which is basically like issuing hurricane warnings for Minnesota. But here's the thing that's got me really fired up. This current system is literally nothing compared to what's brewing for next weekend. Initially, I was thinking this might be a quick hit-and-run situation, cold air moves through and we're back to normal. But then I looked at the extended forecast and holy cow, this pattern is planning to stick around for the long haul. We're talking about a complete atmospheric reorganization that could dominate our weather through the rest of January and well into February. Now, up north where snow is supposed to happen, we're looking at what could become a legitimate nor'easter developing today. D.C., Philadelphia, New York, Boston, you're all in the crosshairs for heavy snow that's going to ramp up significantly this afternoon. And Patriots fans, I hate to break it to you, but that playoff game is going to look like they're playing inside a snow globe by the fourth quarter. But wait, there's more. And yes, I know I sound like a cheesy infomercial, but seriously, the plot keeps thickening. This nor'easter is trying its best to fully develop, but it just doesn't have enough time to reach its full potential. It's like a racehorse that's incredibly fast, but running out of track. Still powerful, just not reaching peak performance. However, and this is a big however, next weekend's setup is looking absolutely textbook perfect for a massive East Coast storm. Picture this. There's been this enormous dome of Arctic air sitting over Canada, trapped like air in a pressure cooker. Parts of Alaska have been below zero for 32 consecutive days. That's over a month of continuous deep freeze. And now that pressure cooker is about to release all that frigid air in one massive surge toward the United States. When I say cold, I'm not talking about throw on an extra sweater cold. This is your car won't start, your pipes will freeze cold. We're looking at wind chills that could plummet to 60 below zero in the upper Midwest. That's literally colder than Antarctica. Chicago might experience wind chills around 30 below. Minneapolis could see 50 below. And even New York City might feel like 20 below zero. Now here's where the story takes an interesting twist. Initially, I thought this would be a quick Arctic blast that moves through in a day or two. But the latest model runs are showing something completely different, and it's honestly got me a little shook. This Arctic air mass looks like it's planning to move in and set up permanent residence for at least a week, maybe longer. And that's when things get really interesting. Because while all this cold air is settling in, Gulf moisture is getting ready to crash the party. When you have Arctic air colliding with Gulf moisture, that's the recipe for epic winter storms. And both major models are lighting up like Christmas trees. The European model and the GFS, which usually disagree about everything, are suddenly singing the exact same tune for next weekend. And that tune is playing a song about potential snow from Texas all the way to Maine, with some truly impressive accumulation totals. Now, I know some of you are probably thinking, here we go again with another overhyped storm that turns into nothing. Trust me, I completely understand that skepticism, because we've all been disappointed by weather forecasts before. But when multiple independent forecasting systems show remarkable consistency this far in advance, that signal carries serious weight. Plus, the physical setup is absolutely perfect. We've got all the ingredients for a truly memorable winter weather event. So let me break this down region by region, because this thing is going to be massive in scope. Starting way down south in Texas and Oklahoma, y'all might finally get your first legitimate winter weather in years. Now, it probably won't be all snow down there. We're likely looking at significant ice storm potential that could make travel absolutely treacherous. But for cities like Dallas, Oklahoma City, Little Rock, and even parts of Arkansas, this could be your winter storm of the decade. Moving up into the Ohio Valley, Cincinnati, Louisville, Indianapolis, Columbus. This setup is looking incredibly favorable for you guys. The storm track and temperature profiles are lining up perfectly for significant snow accumulations across that entire region. Then we get to the Northeast, and this is where things could become absolutely legendary. Boston, New York, Philadelphia, Washington, D.C. We could be looking at one of those storms that people remember for decades. The kind of event that becomes part of family lore, where your kids ask you about the blizzard of 2025. And I'm not talking about your typical 6 to 8 inch snowfall. Early indications suggest totals that could make you do a double take. But hold on to your hats, because the Great Lakes region could get absolutely hammered by lake effect snow. Buffalo, Syracuse, Erie, Grand Rapids. With this Arctic air moving over those relatively warm lake waters, we're talking about potential for multiple feet. Snow totals so impressive they'll sound like typos. 2, 3, maybe even 4 feet in the heaviest hit areas. Poor Marquette, Michigan has already been getting crushed with snow all winter long, and they're about to get hit again. At this point, they probably think Mother Nature has developed a personal vendetta against them. Now, let's get serious about this cold for a moment, because this is where things become legitimately dangerous. We're not dealing with your average winter chill. This is the kind of cold that can pose real health risks. Actual air temperatures could drop to 25 or 30 below zero across the northern plains. Factor in the wind, and we're looking at wind chills approaching 50 to 60 below zero in places like North Dakota and Minnesota. That's the kind of cold where exposed skin can get frostbite in less than 5 minutes. And this frigid air is going to push much farther south than anyone's comfortable with. We're talking about hard freezes reaching all the way down into Florida. Imagine waking up in Tampa to ice on your windshield. The citrus growers are probably having serious anxiety right now, because this could potentially devastate their crops. Here's what's really got me concerned, though. This pattern doesn't look like it's going anywhere anytime soon. We're not dealing with a typical quick-hitting Arctic blast that moves through and we return to normal. This looks like it could establish itself as the dominant weather pattern for weeks, potentially lasting through February. So if you've been complaining about this warm, boring winter, well, congratulations. You definitely got your wish. And if you're someone who absolutely despises cold weather, you might want to start browsing vacation packages to somewhere tropical. All right, let's talk practical advice. What should you actually do with all this information? If you're dealing with snow today, especially in the southeast, please don't underestimate it. Even an inch of snow can completely paralyze cities like Atlanta because they simply don't have the equipment to handle it. If you see snow sticking to surfaces, stay home if possible. The roads are going to be a complete nightmare. For next week's Arctic invasion, now is the time to start getting your preparations in order. Stock up on non-perishable groceries. Check your heating system. Ensure your car has emergency supplies. And seriously, if you're in an area that could experience those extreme temperatures, don't take any chances. This stuff can be life-threatening. For the potential weekend megastorm, it's still early for specific details, but keep your eyes glued to the forecast. This could be one of those situations where you want all your shopping done by Friday afternoon. Now I really want to hear from all of you. What's the current situation where you're located? Are you seeing snow falling? Feeling that first bite of serious cold? Drop a comment and keep me updated on local conditions. And tell me honestly, are you excited about this potential winter weather extravaganza or absolutely dreading it? Because I gotta say, the comment sections on these videos always provide the best entertainment. Here's something that's absolutely blowing my mind about this entire situation. The speed at which this pattern transformation occurred is just incredible. Earlier this week, the weather models were showing basically nothing exciting on the horizon. Then literally overnight, we went from boring and predictable to potentially historic. This is exactly why weather forecasting can drive people absolutely crazy. The atmosphere can completely flip its script in hours. But when you see this dramatic of a change across multiple independent modeling systems, that's usually a strong signal that something major is developing. What's developing is a complete disruption of the polar vortex, that massive spinning wheel of Arctic air that usually stays contained up north. When that system gets disrupted, all that super cold air that's normally locked away over the North Pole starts flooding southward. Think of it like a dam bursting, except instead of water, it's air so cold it can literally freeze your breath before it leaves your mouth. And that Arctic air is about to have an epic collision with warm, humid air streaming northward from the Gulf of Mexico. That collision zone is where all the winter weather fireworks happen. Heavy snow, ice storms, blizzard conditions. Based on current projections, that collision zone could stretch from the Rio Grande Valley all the way to the Canadian border. When's the last time you saw a weather system capable of impacting literally 2/3 of the entire continental United States? For the meteorological record books, this could definitely be one worth remembering. The geographic scope, the intensity, the potential duration, everything about this setup is operating on an extreme scale. And here's what's got me particularly excited. This isn't looking like a one-and-done situation. The way this atmospheric pattern is establishing itself, we could be dealing with multiple waves of Arctic air and storm systems. So even after next weekend's potential blockbuster event, there could be encore performances waiting in the wings. It's like winter decided to make up for being absent early in the season by going completely overboard now. Let me break down the timing because I know that's what everyone really wants to understand. Today through Monday, we're dealing with the current system and getting our first real taste of what's coming. Tuesday through Thursday, things will settle down somewhat, but temperatures are going to start their dramatic nosedive. Friday through Sunday, January 24th through 26th, that's when the main event is scheduled to begin. By that weekend, all the atmospheric ingredients should be perfectly aligned. Arctic air in position, Gulf moisture flowing northward. If everything comes together the way the models are suggesting, we could witness something truly extraordinary. The kind of storm that has you calling everyone you know like, are you seeing what's happening outside right now? The kind that breaks social media with people posting absolutely insane snow accumulation videos. Now, I don't want to oversell this because weather forecasting isn't an exact science, especially this far in advance. But I also don't want to undersell it because what the models are depicting is genuinely remarkable. When you achieve this level of consistency across different forecasting systems and time ranges, Mother Nature is usually trying to communicate something important. And what she's saying is get ready because I'm about to remind everyone who's really in charge around here. So here's my personal recommendation for a game plan. Start preparing now, but don't go into full panic mode. Get your emergency supplies organized. Make sure your heating system is functioning properly. Stock up on essentials. But also, if you're a winter weather enthusiast, allow yourself to get genuinely excited because this could be absolutely epic. And if winter weather makes you want to hibernate until spring, start planning some serious indoor entertainment. Before I wrap this up, I want to address something I keep seeing pop up in the comments. Some people are saying that meteorologists always hype up storms that end up being complete busts. Look, I completely understand that frustration because we've all been burned by forecasts that promised everything and delivered nothing. But here's the reality. It's infinitely better to be over-prepared for something that doesn't materialize than underprepared for something that does. Plus, weather forecasting science has advanced tremendously over the past decade. When you see signals this strong and consistent this far in advance, it's definitely worth taking seriously. Even if this specific storm doesn't pan out exactly as currently predicted, the overall pattern shift is absolutely real. We're transitioning from a quiet, mild pattern to an active, intense one, which means multiple opportunities for significant winter weather. So even if next weekend doesn't deliver the knockout punch, there will likely be other chances coming down the pipeline. All right, let's keep this conversation going strong in the comments. What's your honest reaction to everything we've discussed? Are you pumped about the potential for record-breaking snow? Stressed about the dangerous cold? Ready to move somewhere tropical? And seriously, don't forget to drop your location so I can provide more targeted information about what to expect in your specific area. I'll be monitoring this situation like a hawk and bringing you updates as new information becomes available. Because honestly, this is the kind of weather scenario that makes my job absolutely fascinating. Most of the time, weather patterns are fairly routine and predictable. But occasionally, the atmosphere decides to throw us a massive curveball. And I believe that's exactly what's happening here. So buckle up tight because the next few weeks could be one incredible meteorological adventure. Whether you're Team Blizzard or Team Beach weather, this pattern is going to affect all of us in some significant way. From farmers scrambling to protect livestock to families stocking up on hot chocolate. From emergency crews preparing for the worst-case scenario to kids secretly hoping for snow days. This is the kind of weather event that brings out both the best and most dramatic reactions in people. So please stay safe out there, bundle up when necessary, and definitely keep checking back for updates because this story is just getting started. Thanks for sticking with me through this deep dive, and I'll see you in the next update, where we'll continue tracking what's shaping up to be an absolutely incredible winter weather saga. Seriously though, hit up that comment section and let me know what you're thinking. Your local observations and reactions always make these discussions so much better. Until next time, stay weather aware and get ready for what could be the most memorable winter weather sequence we've experienced in recent years. And remember, whether you love snow or prefer sunshine, we're all in this wild weather adventure together.